Good morning, everyone. This is Vishwas. Today we are going to study about geography. Yes, today we are going to study about geography. That is chapter number 1 of class 10th resources and development. So let's study about this chapter. That's a very easy chapter and we have to understand it in order to make it more easy and simpler. So, the first term that we are going to talk about, as the name of the chapter you have seen already, chapter number 1 resources and development. So, in this chapter, the term starts with resource. So, what do you mean by resource? Resource is basically everything which is available in the environment, which can be used to satisfy our needs provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as a resource. What does that statement mean? जो भी कुछ एनवायरनमेंट में पड़ा हुआ है, राइट, जो हम टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू उसे एक्सेस कर पा रहे हैं और जो इकोनॉमिकली हम लोग अफोर्ड कर पा रहे हैं या कल्चरली उसे एक्सेप्ट कर पा रहे हैं, दैट इज बेसिकली टर्म्ड एज रिसोर्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल. We are extracting the resources, or suppose let's take gold, right? We are extracting gold from earth, right, through mining. So mining needs certain kind of technology or equipments we talk about, so that's technologically accessible, right? जो हम अफोर्ड टेक्नोलॉजिकली accessible मीन्स जो हम लोग कर पा रहे हैं टेक्नोलॉजी की हेल्प से, राइट. इकोनॉमिकली फिजिबल मतलब हम लोगों को पैसे की उसमें जितनी ज़रूरत है हम लोग वो भी कर पा रहे हैं, राइट. एंड कल्चरली एक्सेप्टेबल, दैट मीन्स किसी के कोई कल्चर पे या किसी भी भावनाओं पे कोई भी हमें इफेक्ट नहीं हो रहा है, राइट. सो ऑल दिस थिंग्स व्हेन दे आर गोइंग टू सेटिस्फाई दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग विच इज़ अवेलेबल टू अस, दैट इज नोन एज अ रिसोर्स. उसके बाद जो हमें जो चीज़ मिलेगी उसे हम रिसोर्स कहेंगे, राइट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, everything which is available nearby you, that is bed, TV, any other appliance or furniture, everything is a resource because you have got it from the environment, and there is some technology which is involved in it, and it is also you have bought that particular thing, so it's economically feasible for you as well, and your family has accepted, so we can call it culturally acceptable also, right. So let's move on to the next topic, that is relationship, right. So what do you mean by relationship? So relationship means basically there is an interdependent relationship between the three things. That is, first one is human beings, the main part, the role plays by the human beings. The second thing which is connected to the human beings is that is known as nature, right? Whatever the things which are available in the nature that human beings can use, and human beings can use with the help of technology, right? And we can create institutions from them. So basically human beings is the main part, and we are talking about three different subparts, that is known as nature, technology, and institutions, right? So human beings play a very crucial role in this case. What happens in this case is, let's see, the process of transforming of things. What happens, human beings अगर नहीं होंगे तो ना हम नेचर को यूज़ कर पाएंगे, ना हम टेक्नोलॉजी बना पाएंगे, ना उसे यूज़ कर पाएंगे, और इंटरैक्ट अगर नहीं होगा नेचर और टेक्नोलॉजी का आपस में ह्यूमन बींग्स के थ्रू, दैट मीन्स हम लोग उससे कोई भी इंस्टीट्यूट या कोई भी यूजफुल चीज़ नहीं बना पाएंगे इन ऑर्डर टू एक्सेलरेट आर इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, राइट. तो इसकी वजह से अगर जब कुछ बनेगा ही नहीं, नेचर से कुछ हम एक्सट्रैक्ट नहीं करेंगे और उसमें से कुछ भी हम ट्रांसफॉर्म नहीं कर पाएंगे, right, with the help of technology, then there will be no economic development, right. That's the basically relationship between all of them. Next is, our resources that we have got, they are the free gifts of nature. Do you think that resources are free, really? No, they are not. Resources are a function of human activities. Resources क्या है? हम लोग जो काम कर रहे हैं, जो फंक्शन कर रहे हैं नेचर से रिसोर्स बनाने में, दैट इज बेसिकली एज टर्म्ड एज अ रिसोर्स, जो हम नेचर से निकाल पा रहे हैं अपनी यूजफुल चीज़ों के लिए, अपने चीज़ों को और इजी बनाने के लिए, अपनी एक्टिविटीज़ को मोर सिंपलर करने के लिए, या हम बोलें तो सहूलियतें लेने के लिए, राइट. दैट इज टर्म्ड एज अ resource. Human beings themselves are essential component of resources. they transform material available in the environment into resources and use them. So what human beings are doing, जो भी हमें मिलता है environment के अंदर, हम उसे यूजफुल मटेरियल में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं ताकि हम उसे किसी काम में ला सकें, उसे वेस्ट ना किया जाए, राइट? So nowadays we are going at a very fast rate and using the fossil fuels and other components of nature which are provided to us. But if we will keep on doing like this, what will happen? A day will come when none of the resources will be left for our future generations, right? So that's the concept of basically sustainable development that I will make you understand later on, right? So let's go by the mind map first. So resources, as you can see, is classified into two subparts, that is natural and human made. Why resources are two subparts? Basically, one is natural resources and the other one are human resources. Human resources, we are a human resource, right? Why? Because if we will not work, anything that is naturally present cannot be converted into resource, right? So we both are basically resources. One is natural, one is human, right? We are also considered among natural, but in case of conceptual wise, when we will go, so natural and human beings are basically termed as a basic resource, right? So natural is basically classified into two subparts, that is renewable and non-renewable, right? In case of renewable, continuous or flow of wind and water, these things are considered. And in case of renewable, there are basically two types. One is continuous or flow of wind and water, and the other one is biological. Biological is again categorized into two subparts, that is natural vegetation, that is forest, and the other one is wildlife, right? Wildlife will contain all the animals, right? And the natural vegetation will contain the forest part, etc. So in case of natural, the other part is non-renewable, right? So non-renewable can be recyclable like metals and all, and there are non-recyclable also things like fossil fuels that we are continuously using. So human beings basically are classified into two certain types, that is known as structures and institutions, that we used to create by using the resources, and quantity and quality, like how much quantity we need and how much quality we can maintain. So everything, when we go and shop in the market, there are certain different qualities and quantity of the things, right? Whatever is cheaper, the shopkeepers used to bring it large quantity, and whatever is not cheaper or it's costly, they used to keep in a small quantity, right? So quality, basically when you go for quality, it will be little bit costlier, right? Okay. Now next is classification of resources. So how basically we are going to classify all these resources on the basis of origin, that is biotic and abiotic; on the basis of exhaustibility, that is renewable and non-renewable; on the basis of ownership, like ये किसको बिलोंग करते हैं, एक इंडिविजुअल के हैं, किसी कम्युनिटी के हैं, नेशन के हैं, या इंटरनेशनल रिसोर्सेज हैं. Then on the basis of status of development, potential, developed, stocked and reserved, right? So we will study about all this one by one. Let's start from the basis of origin. So on the basis of origin, basically there are two types: biotic resources and abiotic resources. So when we talk about biotic resources, what happens in this case is they are obtained from biosphere, as the name suggests, right? And have life such as human beings. इनके अंदर जान होती है, life होती है, right? So these are basically living resources, we can say, like fishes, livestock, fauna, flora, human beings, etc. Plants also, right? So abiotic resources are all those things which are composed of non-living things are called abiotic resources. For example, water, rocks, metals, non-metals, everything is a non-biotic resource other than living things, right? All the non-living beings, or all the non-living things are basically known as a abiotic resource, right? Okay. On the basis of exhaustibility, that's the most important one: renewable resources and non-renewable resources. We are going to study first about renewable resources, the resources which can be renewed or reproduced by a physical, chemical or mechanical processes, जिसे हम बार बार यूज कर सकते हैं. कोई भी फिजिकल, केमिकल या मैकेनिकल प्रोसेस किसी भी तरह से उसको हम खत्म नहीं होने देते, उसको बार बार यूज करते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वट वी यूज टू डू विद ऑल द न्यूज पेपर्स दैट वी collect at home, we used to go and sell it to kabadi wala, right? So what that person do, they used to give some money for that, and that particular paper they give it for the recycling purpose and sell it again, right? So, for example, solar and wind energy, water resources, etc., the renewable resources may further be divided into continuous or flow, right? So renewable resources भी आगे further divided होते हैं, continuous होते हैं या flow होते हैं. For example, एक टाइम आता है कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल मेटल्स वी विल टॉक अबाउट, राइट? सो मेटल्स के अंदर क्या है कि हम बार बार उसे यूज कर सकते हैं. मेटल मेल्ट किया, कास्ट किया, फिर और कोई चीज बना ली. एंड सिमिलरली विद द सोलर एंड विंड एनर्जी, दे आर लॉन्ग लास्टिंग and they are renewable resources. Next is non-renewable resources. These occur over a long geographical time. They need, what does that mean? They need a large time interval in order to manufacture. Or, for example, fossil fuels, you can take an example, or metals, you can take an example. If they get exhausted once, they take a lot of time to make it again, right? So, like if you will say fossil fuels, right? Fossil fuels takes millions of years in their formation, and the way we are using it, it's going to be exhausted within a few months, you can say few years also, right? Max up to 10 to 20 years. After that, it is going to be exhausted if the pace goes on like this only. So we have to save that for the future generations, right? Okay. Next is on the basis of ownership. Individual resources, these are also owned privately by individuals. Many farmers own land which is allotted to them by the government against the payment of revenue, right? So in villages there are people with land ownership, but there are many who are landless. So urban people own plots, houses, and other property, plantation, pastoral lands, ponds, wells, etc. Some of the examples of resources ownership by individuals. Let's take a very simple example. कोई इंडिविजुअल कुछ भी ओन कर रहा है, दैट्स इंडिविजुअल रिसोर्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर आपके पास बाइक है, एक्टिवा है, कार है, दैट्स योर रिसोर्स, राइट? एंड दैट्स ऑन योर नेम, सो दैट्स अ इंडिविजुअल रिसोर्स, राइट? Let's take another example, that's of your house. If that house is in your name, then you are the owner of that house. Then what will happen, that resource will be considered as a individual resource, right? Okay, next thing is community owned resources. For example, parks and all, whatever the parks you are having nearby, that's basically for the whole community. That is common for the people living in nearby area, right? So picnic spots, playgrounds in rural areas are accessible to the people which are living over there, right? So these are basically known as community based resources. Now we talk about national resources. That's very important to understand what is a national resource and what are international resource. So basically, technically, all the resources which are present in a geographical area of a country, that is known as a national resource. The country has legal powers to acquire them, even private property of the for the public goodness. That means if we are owning a property, so our country can own that also in order to have a use for the people or the public welfare, right? So you might have seen roads, canals, railways being constructed on the fields owned by some individuals. Like you might have seen some highways which are going to be constructed or which are under construction and which have been already constructed. You might have seen nearby fields are there, right? So on those fields only that highways are constructed, because of the urban development authorities are getting empowered by the government to acquire that land for the public welfare and development purpose, right? So जितने भी अब लैंड्स वगैरह ओन हो रहे हैं पब्लिक वेलफेयर के लिए, वो गवर्नमेंट के पास उस चीज़ की अथॉरिटी है कि वो ओन करके आपको एक पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट दे करके आपके रिसोर्सेज को ले लेगी, राइट? सो ऑल द मिनरल्स, वाटर रिसोर्सेज, फॉरेस्ट, वाइल्ड लाइफ, land within the political boundaries and oceanic area up to 12 nautical miles, right? So 19.2 kilometers basically we have assessed nearby our country. For example, what is the meaning of this line is, India is surrounded from water from three sides, right? So that doesn't mean that all water belongs to that Indian Ocean. Doesn't mean that all Indian Ocean is of India because it's on the name of Indian Ocean. It's from the seashore till 12 kilometers, till 19.2 kilometers, sorry, 12 nautical miles or 19.2 kilometers area. That is used by a nation, that is India can use only 19.2 kilometers of the oceanic area, right, from the coast. If we will go beyond that, then we have to take the permission of the international authorities, right? So next term is international resources basically. Now, what happens is there are international institutions which regulate some resources. The oceanic resources beyond 200 kilometer of the exclusive economic zone belong to an open ocean, and no individual country can utilize it. What will happen? अगर इंडिया बोले कि नहीं, मेरा इंडिया इंडियन ओशन है तो मैं पूरा का पूरा यूज करूंगा, बे ऑफ बंगाल मेरे पास आ रहा है मैं यूज करूंगा, तो ऐसे देयर विल बी अ kind of war situation. So in order to avoid that, we have decided a particular area that is fixed for all the nations, that you can go up to this particular region only, and beyond 200 kilometers of the exclusive economic zone, that is basically the open ocean, and no individual country have the authority, किसी भी country को authority नहीं है उन resources को use करने की without the occurrence of international institutions, बिना international institutions की permission के, right? Okay. Now, what's the live example of international resources is basically the Antarctica, right? So in Antarctica, that's the international resource that's considered as international resource, and all the nuclear experiments are going on there. And with the help of only and only the international institutions, by their permission only, we can do any kind of nuclear experiment over there. Without the permission, any of the country cannot go over there and cannot do any kind of experiment, right? Next, do you know that India has got right to mine manganese nodules from the bed of the Indian Ocean? That's a good thing for India. So we are getting manganese from the beds of the Indian Ocean that's lie beyond the exclusive economic zone. मतलब वो 9.2 किलोमीटर के बाहर आ रहा है, फिर भी इंडिया को परमिशन मिल गया इंटरनेशनल रिसोर्स अथॉरिटी से that you can extract those minerals, right? That's a good thing. And on the basis of status of development. So when we go on the basis of status of development, what does that mean? Potential resources, they are found in a region but have not been utilized. मतलब वो पड़े हैं resources but उन्हें utilize नहीं किया जा रहा. For example, वेस्टर्न पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया. व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट वेस्टर्न पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया, हमें एकदम क्लिक होता है राजस्थान और गुजरात. वहां पे क्या है, ऐसा क्या है राजस्थान और गुजरात में? जस्ट रिमेंबर विंड एंड सोलर एनर्जी, राइट? सो विंड एंड सोलर एनर्जी को हम यूज कर सकते हैं किस वे में? इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट करने में, विंड मिल सेटअप करके और सोलर एनर्जी को सोलर पावर प्लांट सेटअप करके. बट अभी तक हम उन रिसोर्सेज को यूज ही नहीं कर पा रहे. सो दैट रिसोर्सेज आर नोन एज पोटेंशियल रिसोर्सेज. Next is developed resources. Resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. The development of resources depends upon technology and level of their feasibility. So the developed resources are basically जो हम सर्वे कर चुके हैं, जो हम फाइंड आउट कर चुके हैं, और उनकी क्वांटिटी और क्वालिटी के बारे में हम लोगों को पता है कि कितना कितना यूज हो रहा है. So these resources depends basically upon the technology and the level of their feasibility. For example, हम लोगों को पता है कि हम लोगों को इतना आयरन रिसोर्स चाहिए पूरे इंडिया की इकोनॉमी या हम पीपल की डिमांड्स को फुलफिल करने के लिए, तो हम लोग उतना आयरन रिसोर्स प्रोड्यूस कर पा रहे हैं, राइट? दैट्स बेसिकली कंसिडर्ड एज अ डेवलप्ड रिसोर्स. देन नेक्स्ट इज स्टॉक. ये तो सभी लोग जानते होंगे स्टॉक को. Stocks are basically materials which are available in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to assess these. स्टॉक ये नहीं है कि हमने घर में स्टॉक करके रख लिया. नो, ये स्टॉक का मतलब है मटेरियल्स जो एनवायरनमेंट में प्रेजेंट हैं, जो ह्यूमन नीड्स को सेटिस्फाई कर सकते हैं, बट हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है उनको एक्सेस करने की, राइट? These kind of resources are included among stock. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हाइड्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन की बात करें, काफ़ी रिच सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी है, राइट? और अगर हम बात करें कि और भी कई गैसेज हैं एटमॉस्फेयर में लाइक नाइट्रोजन, हम उन्हें यूज़ कैसे करें? हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है, बट हमें पता है उन्हें यूज़ किया जा सकता है, राइट? बट वी डोंट नो हैव द टेक्नोलॉजी, रिक्वायर्ड टेक्नोलॉजी, नो हाउ टू यूज देम फॉर दिस पर्पस, एंड इट इज कंसिडर्ड एज अ स्टॉक. तो हमारे लिए वो जितने भी रिसोर्सेज हैं जो हम यूज़ नहीं कर पा रहे ड्यू टू हमारे पास उसको यूज करने की टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है, राइट? बिकॉज वी डोंट हैव द टेक्नोलॉजी दैट कैन एबल टू यूज दैट, सो दैट्स कंसिडर्ड एज अ स्टॉक. नेक्स्ट इज रिजर्व्स. Reserves are the substrate of the stock, which can be put into use when, with the help of the existing technical know-how, but their use has not been started. कई चीज़ें हैं ऐसी जिन्हें हम अभी यूज़ नहीं कर रहे हैं, हमें पता है उन्हें यूज़ कैसे करना है, जैसे रिवर वाटर, राइट। अब रिवर्स कितनी है इंडिया के अंदर, बहुत सारी हैं, ठीक है, बट हम जगह जगह पे डैम्स तो नहीं कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे, राइट। सो वी कैन डू इन ऑर्डर टू इंक्रीज our hydroelectric power production, but we are not doing at this time. So thus the water in the dams, forests etc is a reserve which can be used in the future. अभी ये वाटर की बात करें जो डैम्स वगैरह में और फॉरेस्ट वगैरह में है, वो हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं कभी भी फ्यूचर जनरेशन में। सपोज हमें कभी हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बनानी पड़ गई, या इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जिस अकॉर्डिंगली पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ हो रहा है उस अकॉर्डिंगली आपका इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोडक्शन भी बढ़ना चाहिए, बिकॉज यूटिलाइजेशन बढ़ रहा है, राइट। So in order to increase the electric city production, we can use this criteria, we can use the reserves, right. Next is the end of the chapter, not chapter, basically lecture, right. It is to be continued in our next video, so don't worry, stay updated, like our channel, subscribe it. Have a nice day to all of you. Bye bye.